Hannah Grace Yoga. Thank you for tuning into this video today. I'm super excited for you to meet me on your mat so we can get a little bit closer to those splits that you've been working so hard on. For me, splits were always something I wanted to do because one, they make for great pictures. And two, it's just like the ultimate pose of flexibility. Like it's just a good thing to be able to do, right? So I'm going to show you some poses that'll lead you a little bit closer to that end goal of the splits. But I don't want you to be discouraged if you do this video one time and the splits just don't happen, okay? We know that's not how it's going to work. You need to train your body, you need to get a little bit more flexible in the hamstrings, open up through the hips. And if you like this video, go ahead and give me that thumbs up supporting me and my channel. And also, okay, no more love. If you have not yet subscribed, go ahead and do that as well so you don't miss these weekly videos that I'm going to be putting out for you. And let's go ahead and get started. Starting in forward fold, let's just go ahead and warm up the body, stretch through the hamstrings. Inhale as you come into your halfway lift. Let's go ahead and reach all the way back down to forward fold as you step it back to down dog. Here, let's just take some nice deep bends in the knees here, pedaling out through the heels, warming up through the back sides of our legs. That is where we're focusing on the flexibility here. Maybe you twist the hips side to side, stretch a little bit more through the core as well as the hips. Let's go ahead and flow forward into your vinyasa, into upward facing dog. Exhale as we all meet back into downward facing dog. Continuing to pedal out the lower body, warming it up. Go ahead and walk all the way back to forward fold. Let your upper body fall nice and heavy. From here, let's come into ragdoll. Opposite hand grabs opposite elbow as you sway back and forth. So here we're focusing on the weight of our torso falling heavy, the elbows grounding towards your mat. So legs are as straight as they can be here as we're focusing obviously on our hamstring flexibility. Let's go ahead and lower the hands back down to the ground as we take our peace fingers, which are our index and our middle, hook them around our big toe, let your thumb grab the opposite side. From there, we're going to bend the arms as you pull yourself deep towards the feet. And then you're going to straighten the arms, straighten the legs as we come into gorilla pose. Go ahead and bending in those arms, pulling yourself closer, and then straightening them. So we're just alternating here, bending and straightening the arms, pulling yourself a little bit closer towards the legs with each pull. Go ahead and release back to our downward facing dog. Lifting your hips up, pushing the thighs towards your torso, torso towards the thighs. Let's go ahead and bend the knees, coming into forward fold. So both hands, both knees are on the ground here at this time. Let's take the left foot, step it up to a low lunge position here. While we're here, let's go ahead and interlace the hands around that top thigh as we actively shift the hips forward, coming into a runner's lunge. Roll the shoulders back, push the heart forward as we're actively sinking down, tapping into the hip flexor on the right side. So this should give you a stretch through the right hip as you come into a more dramatic version here. So maybe you drop the hands to the ground, but you still actively are pressing the hips forward. From here, let's walk the hands back to our right knee as we straighten the front left leg, coming into half splits. Position your hands around the front leg, bending the torso towards that knee, bowing forward as much as you can. Left leg stays straight. And go ahead and shift the weight back forward, coming back into runner's lunge. Maybe this time you decide to become a little bit deeper into this pose. Finding your lowest potential here that you can come, getting the deepest stretch possible here through the hips. Then let's go ahead and walk it back to half splits, really focusing on the straightness in that left leg. Maybe here you take it a little deeper too, wrapping those hands around the foot if accessible. As you focus on the weight of the torso falling heavy on the thigh. Go ahead and shift it back forward into runner's lunge. Go ahead and wiggle that left foot out to the side as you come onto the outside edge of that left foot for lizard lunge. Your left hand can come to the left knee as you twist open towards that left side. Maybe your eyes look down at the right foot behind you. Then from here, let's wiggle that foot all the way over to the right side of your mat, dropping down into pigeon pose. Untuck the toes on your right side. Go ahead and walk the hands back, open through the heart, eyes look up, mind your back bend. And then let's go ahead and walk the arms forward as you lay down into the deepest version of your pigeon pose that you can here. As we stretch through the outside edge of the left hip, preparing to hopefully reach that splits pose. We're just warming up through the legs. Go ahead and walk the hands back up. As you meet back into that low lunge position here, practicing straightening and bending the legs, shifting back and forth from runner's lunge to half splits. This is one of my favorite little transition here. Just go back and forth as many times as you feel needed. warming up, stretching both the front side and the back side of this left leg. Alternating front and back, sensing the movement in your body. The next time you come to the front, see if that left leg can maybe slide forward. If it can, practice shifting those hips side to side, seeing if you can lower a little bit more, and if you can, take any variation here that you'd like. You can wrap the hands around the left foot, or you can keep the hands framing the hips. Just continue then to rock side to side here. Let's go ahead and pull that right foot in front of us as we bring the right foot to the inside edge of the left leg. Go ahead and bring your hands up above the head as you fold over the feet, coming into our recline single-legged here, forward fold. Once again, just focusing on the hamstring flexibility here in the left leg. We're still working here just on this left side. Go ahead and straighten out the right leg. Both arms reach up high again as you bow forward, reaching towards both feet. Now, if the feet aren't accessible, you can still grab whichever part of the leg it is. Grab the thighs, grab the shins. Still actively pull yourself towards the lower half of the body. Go ahead and rise back up to that seated position as you meet back into all fours. So stacking the shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. Go ahead and step that right leg up to the low lunge position. Adjust yourself here as you need. And let's go ahead and interlace the hands on that right thigh as you sink the hips forward. Straightening out, realigning the body, and then go ahead and sink forward again, seeing if each time you lower, see if you can lower just a little bit more. Relaxing the hands down to the ground. Maybe you rock side to side here. I always find that feels good through the hips, kind of massages the muscles through there, helps them get a little bit more loose to prepare for the splits. Then go ahead and straighten that front leg, hips go back to the left heel, coming into half splits here on this side. Finders over hand positioning you like best. Hands can frame the front foot, whatever you'd like. Let's go ahead and shift it back to runner's lunge, lowering just a little bit deeper than last time. Once again here, it feels good to rock side to side. You can choose to do that if you would like. Then let's go ahead and walk the hands back to half splits. As you can see, I really like this combination of going from half splits to the runner's lunge. I feel like it's a really good way to warm up both of the legs, both of the hips, all the different muscles that we're going to need for splits pose. Go ahead and shift back to runner's lunge. Let's wiggle that right foot out to the side to come into lizard lunge. As you open up to the back behind you, twisting a little bit through the spine. And go ahead and now wiggle that right foot all the way to the left side of your mat, coming into pigeon pose. So we're lowering those hips as much as they can come. Walking the hands close to the hips as you roll the shoulders back and down, push the heart forward. Then from here, let's walk the hands forward as you come into your deepest version of pigeon that is available to you. Really focusing on the weight of the torso, pressing onto the top thigh. This time as we're thinking about that right side of ours, preparing the flexibility, preparing the openness through the hips. We'll hopefully get a little bit closer to the splits pose here on this right side of ours. Go ahead and walk the hands back up. As you release that foot back to a runner's lunge. Go ahead and shift back to a half split. We just focus on straightening that right leg, bowing the upper body over the leg. And go ahead and shift back to the front, back to runner's lunge. From here, go ahead and see if that right leg will slide forward. As you can see, I'm not quite as graceful getting down to this side. I still have some room to grow. But sometimes one side of your body is more flexible than the other, so don't take yourself too seriously here. Just relax. Allow your body to be as flexible as it can be in this moment. So let's go ahead and wrap around that left foot to come to the inner right thigh. Arms come up above the head, and let's fold down, reaching towards that right foot. Stretching once again through your right hamstring in our single-legged head to knee here. Go ahead and lift back up. Arms come high, straighten out the left leg. This time as you bow forward, reach towards both feet again. Stretching through both of the legs. The entire backside of your leg should be burning at this point. It is a good burn, I promise, even though it may feel horrendous. Pull through. Go ahead and lift back up. And now you get to celebrate.
Alrighty, there it is. Like I said, do this video a couple times. You know, even daily, if you could incorporate these stretches, it'll really help you get a little further to those splits. And you probably notice my right side, for whatever reason, is just not as good as getting down into those splits. I'm still trying. I mean, I've made a lot of progress. If you watch a video from a couple months back, I couldn't get it. So, I mean, there's hope for you. I mean, I know that I still have a lot of room to grow still on my right side, but I know it'll happen. Stay positive. Thank you again for watching this video. If you love my dog as much as I do, you should check out his Instagram. It's at Asher Golden Doodle. Go check him out, and I'll also leave all the links for my social media down below, so you can check me out there as well. And I will see you right here on your mat next week.